Poco's 2023 X-range phones have arrived, with the Poco X5 being the less expensive of the two. This phone, which was released alongside the Poco X5 Pro, features a dazzling 120Hz AMOLED display, fast charging technology, and a 48-megapixel triple camera setup. But, given its position in the highly competitive mid-range market, is the phone still a good buy? I spent some time with the Poco X5 to see how it performs in everyday situations. The Poco X5 has an understated yet sleek design, which is a welcome change from the days when Poco emblazoned its logo across the entire back. The phone is 7.98mm thick and weighs only 189 grams, making it relatively slim and lightweight to hold. It is available in blue, green, or black, which I tested. The device is made of plastic and has a Gorilla Glass 3 front, so it's not exactly high-end. The slightly metallic finish catches the light well, but it attracts fingerprints and smudges throughout the day. On the plus side, it is less prone to scratches and damage than a phone with a glass back. It also has an IP53 rating, which means it is resistant to dust and light rain, but it is not waterproof. Poco includes a free clear case in the box for added protection. The Poco logo remains, tucked away more neatly adjacent to the camera bump, which produces primarily out the back. This means that the phone does not lay completely flat on a desk. The Poco X5 has a USB-C charging port, a 3.5mm headphone jack, and a dual SIM slot that can hold 2 SIM cards or 1 SIM and a microSD card. The phone has a side-mounted fingerprint scanner on the power button, which I found to be mostly accurate. The phone has a stunning 6.67 inches FHD AMOLED display that is protected by Corning Gorilla Glass 3. It has a DCI-P3 wide color gamut and a peak brightness of 1200 nits. The Poco X5's colors are vivid and bright, making it ideal for streaming videos and browsing images. In this regard, it does not feel like a lower mid-range phone. Poco also provides a color temperature adjustment option on the display to accommodate your preferences. There is a refresh rate of up to 120 Hz, but you can also choose 60 Hz if you want to save battery life. This is combined with an up to 240 Hz touch sampling rate. This results in quick and responsive navigation when scrolling through social media or playing light gaming. Many other mid-range smartphones sacrifice a high refresh rate, so the Poco X5 has a significant advantage here. The phone has a single speaker located on the bottom, which means the sound is weak and tinny. Because there is no audio processing software, music lacks bass and depth, though on a phone this price, premium audio is a luxury. The Poco X5 is powered by a Snapdragon 695 processor, which is also found in the Poco X4 Pro. This can be combined with either 6GB of RAM and 128GB of storage or 8GB of RAM and 256GB of storage. The additional microSD slot allows you to expand internal storage to 1TB. Overall, this phone performs admirably. I used it for social media, YouTube, Twitch, and general browsing, and it performed admirably. Some apps, however, have the occasional stutter. For example, videos on Facebook frequently take a long time to load, and restarting the device frequently results in some slow starts. The phone scored similarly to the Realme 9 and the OnePlus CE2 Lite in terms of performance. Like other Poco X devices, it is capable of some gaming, but don't expect top-tier performance. I was able to play Genshin Impact on the second lowest graphics settings, but I still had some lag and low frame rates. More casual games, such as Animal Crossing Pocket Camp, performed admirably. 5G connectivity is standard, as is Bluetooth 5.1. A 33-watt fast charger is included in the box. This will charge you from 0% to 58% in 30 minutes, with a full charge taking about an hour. By today's standards, this isn't the fastest charging brick. Phones from Realme and Oppo certainly have faster charging bricks. Whatever the X5 lacks in super fast charging, it makes up for with a massive 5000 mAh battery. Even with the refresh rate set to 120 Hz, I was able to use it for 2 days, snapping photos, doom scrolling on Twitter, and watching live streams. In our standard PCMark battery test, the phone lasted 10 hours and 2 minutes. You can stretch the Poco X5 even further if you use the battery saving modes and are generally more conservative with your usage. The phone does not support wireless or reverse charging, which is typical for a phone at this price. The Poco X5 has a triple rear camera system, led by a 48-megapixel main camera with an f1.8 aperture. The secondary lenses are an 8-megapixel wide-angle with a 118-degree field of view and a 2-megapixel macro lens with an f2.4 aperture. When shooting outside in good lighting conditions, the X5 can produce sharp and detailed images. Colors do not appear oversaturated or washed out, as they may on other devices of a comparable price. The Poco X5, like other Xiaomi phones, employs pixel binning technology. Snaps look good when taken with the full 48-megapixel resolution camera as well as when taken in standard mode and condensed down to a 12-megapixel output. The same cannot be said for low light levels. Textures become fuzzier and more blended, making it difficult to focus on the subject you're pointing at. The night mode adds some color, but the end result looks like a faded vintage photograph, and not in a good way. This phone's zoom capabilities are also unimpressive. While details are still visible at X2, the colors on the grass and sky in the test shots are much paler. Further zooming in results in extremely blurry images. The 8-megapixel wide-angle lens is even less sharp, and it performs even worse in low light. However, it is adequate for large landscape shots during the day. The 2-megapixel macro camera is difficult to find in the MIUI interface, but I wouldn't go looking for it. While close-up shots are possible, they are difficult to focus on and the colors are very dull. On the front is a 13-megapixel camera with an f2.45 aperture. Outdoors or in good lighting, performance is comparable to that of the rear cameras. Dimmer lighting, on the other hand, results in poorer textures and muted colors. Portrait mode's bokeh effect also struggles with hair textures, particularly waves and curls. Furthermore, Poco automatically applies a beautify filter to selfies, which can be turned off or increased in strength. In a nutshell, this removes facial blemishes like freckles and gives the appearance that you are wearing makeup. This should not be enabled by default. It not only gives a slightly false finish, but it also contributes to the unrealistic beauty standards set by Instagram filters. Poco should make this feature optional on future phones. The video is available in 720p at 60 frames per second or 1080p at 30 frames per second. However, no auto-stabilization software is included, so be cautious if you have shaky hands. The Poco X4 runs MIUI 13.0.2, Xiaomi's Android 12.0 skin. Although this isn't the most recent Android version, many mid-range phones still use it at the time of recording. Surprisingly, MIUI 14 is available for the X5 Pro, though the changes are minor. Xiaomi's MIUI is an acquired taste, and if you're a die-hard Android fan like me, the changes may be off-putting. Like on iOS, the drop-down menu is divided into two halves. You can access your notifications by swiping down from the left, and the quick settings by swiping right. General navigation can be perplexing. On the camera app, for example, the macro mode is hidden away in the section where you crop photos, rather than in the more section as it is on other devices. On the plus side, you can multitask on the phone with floating windows and use second space to set up two separate profiles. In addition, there is a dedicated game space mode that will close background apps when playing a title to help improve performance. The most annoying aspect of a Poco phone is the number of preloaded apps that clutter up the interface. From a pointless Poco Store app to AliExpress and strange games like Tile Fun, you'll be surprised by the number of things on the phone when you first boot it up. At the time of recording, we don't know how many years of security and software updates the Poco X5 will receive. The Poco X5 is now available for purchase from the Poco website, with prices starting at €299 for the 6 128GB model and €349 for the 12 256GB model. Poco typically does not sell its phones in the United States, but American fans should be able to import it from sites like AliExpress. There's no denying that Poco has produced another affordable phone for the price, this time with a solid build, a large battery life, an impressive display, and a decent main camera in daylight. However, the processor is the same as that found in the Poco X4 Pro, which also includes a higher spec camera and faster charging. More importantly, this phone is less expensive than the X5. As a result, the previous generation's Pro version offers more bang for your buck. Alternatively, you could go for the more mid-range Poco X5 Pro, which has an upgraded processor, twice the charging speeds, and a better camera that takes much clearer low-light shots. This, however, costs nearly €100 more than the X5. The Poco X5 is an excellent mid-range purchase. The 120Hz display is ideal for watching videos and using social media, and the 5000 mAh battery easily lasts 2 days. Phones at this price point must always make sacrifices, and the X5 does so with its poor low-light photography and unimpressive speaker. The MIUI OS is also not the easiest to use, especially given the amount of bloatware. The main disadvantage is that the Poco X4 Pro still outperforms this phone in terms of value for money. Nonetheless, if you want the most recent model, the Poco X5 will provide excellent value.